Hey, what's up guys? Welcome back to Let's Draw with BJ Dell. I'm your host BJ Dell, and in today's new Cartooning 101 video, we're going to talk about a super basic fundamental of cartooning, which is very important but a lot of times overlooked, and that's how to draw necks. So let's say you drew a fantastic head, you've got an awesome body, but you've got to put them together successfully. Draw the neck the wrong way in the wrong proportions, and you're going to throw off the look and feel of the entire design. So if you want to learn all about that and more, keep watching. Right guys, let's go ahead and jump into the video. As always, I'm using an iPad Pro 12.9 inch. This is the first gen model along with the first gen Apple Pencil. The app is Procreate. However, I want to say this is not a digital tutorial. I always state that in the beginning of these Cartooning 101 videos. If you do not have an iPad, if you do not have a drawing tablet, just grab a piece of paper and a pencil and follow along at home. So starting out, I've already got this head template already done here. If you guys aren't familiar with this, we talked about that in the beginning of the Cartooning 101 series. If you guys haven't watched, I will put a card up here at the top to that playlist. Definitely hop back, check those out, because we're going to be using some of the information that we learned in those videos. So now that I've got this done, I'm going to go up here, and this is for the people that are following along with Procreate. I'm going to be using the Sketch Ink Shade pencil. That's a part of my brush set that is available on Gumroad, which I will link that in the description below. And we're going to go ahead and start to draw some kind of template lines on here. So the first thing I want to do is adjust my opacity of the brush here. Now this obviously is digital, but if you're drawing at home just with a piece of paper and a pencil, just draw these lines a little bit lighter than normal and you can achieve the same effect. So we're gonna first just split that head in half straight down the center. Now I'm gonna come over here and draw a line off to the side here, splitting that down, and another one here on this side, like so. So we've got 3 lines here. Now from here we've got basically 2 rectangles. We're going to split these in half as well. So we're going to draw a line here, breaking that rectangle in half, and then a line here, breaking that one in half. So now we're left with basically 5 lines, and what I want you to pay attention here is these 2 lines that we just drew right there. If you look, this is pretty much the normal proportions of just a regular normal cartoon character neck. So if we go ahead, I'm going to turn the opacity of this back up. If we go ahead and just draw some lines here coming off to the side and down, you will see that that is pretty normal proportions for a regular cartoon character. Now keep in mind too, with these lines and these templates that I'm showing you, this is just kind of to get you started seeing where everything's placed. Eventually you're not going to need these. You're going to be able to judge really easily where everything goes. So that's the kind of reason behind these today. So from here then, of course, the shoulders are going to come out from the neck like so. And then if you want, depending on the character, you're going to have the collarbone down here underneath. Collarbone on the left and right there. But I'm going to erase those because I want you to just basically look at the neck here. So like I said, this is a normal character. Not too fat, not too skinny, just a basic character. Now, what would happen if we changed the neck? So here, let's go ahead and let's drop the opacity once again. And let's split these lines, or these rectangles here. Let's add a couple more lines. And then let's draw, using those, let's draw a neck. Like so. Now you can see that this looks a little bit off. Sometimes you will use super skinny necks like this in cartooning. Once again, it goes back to your character design, what type of character you're doing. But as you can see, this almost has kind of a bobblehead look to it now. The head is a lot bigger than what the neck should support. This honestly kind of has that whole Aliens feel to it. So if you think of like a gray, you know, that kind of has that look to it because it's a really skinny neck. So that's why that initial lines that we did, that's what those do, is give you that nice normal proportion. Now let's go ahead and add 2 more lines in here. We'll break these up again. So we're going to pull down here, make that a little bit darker. Pull down here for 1 line, breaking that up. And here for another line. So as the neck widens, the kind of feel of the character changes, the personality of the character changes. So let's go ahead and use those lines that we just drew and draw lines coming down here. So this is going to be more of, if you think, not so much superhero, but it's kind of got that in-between normal, in-between bigger than life stance and feel to it. It has a little bit more kind of power behind it. So this you would use for kind of, if you think, trying to, like maybe Gaston from Beauty and the Beast, something like that, has a little bit more to it. But if we wanted to go even bigger, let's say we wanted to go that superhero route. We wanted to go just the really big and bulky route. If we actually pull and start here from the side and bring this down here to that edge, you'll see, and we kind of make the muscles here bigger coming down. You know, this is a really kind of hulking character, a really thick neck. So this is going to be for a superhero or a bodybuilder or, you know, a strong man, something like that. So you can see just the 3 different neck sizes. This was super big. We did this one here for kind of more of the refined, like bigger than life character, but not super strong, not overly, you know, exaggerated. Drawing here for the regular character, and then drawing here for that super crazy thin alien neck. There gives you, you know, 4 different options for using neck size to kind of drive home exactly what your character looks like. So there's a few different options for the neck. But like I said too, with the head itself and the body, that's going to be a big part of what makes the character. So let's use a different shape here. And this one I don't have drawn up. So this one's going to be a little bit more of a loose feeling to it. But let's go ahead and turn on a new layer here. So let's make kind of like a heavy set character. So this is going to be, you know, kind of a thicker character. It's going to have maybe a double chin down here. Obviously, putting a neck here, if we split this like we did, putting a neck here is going to look really off. You can tell it just doesn't look right. It doesn't look like that neck goes with that character. So for heavier set characters like this, you don't even have to do a neck. You can actually just pull the shoulders out from the side of the head, and you get that really kind of heavy set look. So this is going to be good for those heavier set, overweight characters, just kind of establishing the fact that the shoulders come directly in and they don't really have a neck that's visible. Now that we've got that under our belts, let's go and take that kind of even more drastic. So one of my favorite characters to draw is Frankenstein's monster. So let's go ahead and just draw a Frankenstein real quick, a big, you know, jaw here. We'll do the hair coming here. So when you draw stuff like this, if you think, you know, Frankenstein or just a hulking, massive character, instead of actually drawing the neck here or the shoulders here, you can actually pull the entire back and shoulders over top of the whole head, and it's going to give just that massive hulking feel to your character. So if you think of monsters, think of, you know, Frankenstein's monster, stuff like that. That's the kind of trick or tool that you will use to achieve that effect. Let's turn that off and we'll go into this one, which is the profile view. And once again, this was a part of the Cartooning 101 series, so definitely check out the profile section of that. And let's go ahead and do the neck for this. So the one thing here where a lot of people have problems with is they really just kind of want to pull the neck straight down. And obviously that looks extremely odd. It's not the way that the neck goes. So from a profile view, what you want to be kind of mindful of is this ear should actually sit pretty much in the center of the neck. And then of course the neck is going to have just a nice natural curve to it. So as the head comes down here, the cranium wraps around the back of the head. Just going to pull a line like this for the neck on the back, and same thing here for the front. And that's going to give a nice natural look. Like I said, this line here in the center, That ear should break up that neck on the front and the back. That should fall right in the middle. So be very mindful of getting the curve right. The way that this attaches to the back of the cranium is really important too, to give that nice natural perspective. All right, last but not least, let's talk about drawing babies and kids. I do not have a template pre-drawn for this, so I'm just gonna make this really quick here. If you guys are curious about drawing babies and kids, I did not include this as part of the Cartooning 101 series because I actually did a previous video on this in the Let's Draw series, which I'll go ahead and link that in the description below. Also throw it up there too as a card. I just didn't want to do a repeat video for the Cartooning 101 series, but there is one, so definitely go check that one out. It's going to be a little bit different drawing the necks for these. That's why I want to showcase this one. So let's start out with our lines just like we did before here. And once we start to get these in like we did previously, it's going to become pretty apparent exactly why they're going to be different here. Get that one a little bit more centered. Kind of sitting back in an angle, and some of my lines don't come out necessarily straight because the angle that I'm at is kind of necessary so I don't get my head in the frame of this. It's not going to do anybody any good if you got to look at the top of my head. So now that we've got these lines, you can kind of see if we draw a neck using those ones that we used before that were the correct kind of proportions, it looks really weird. That looks like a really thick neck on a baby. So the kind of alien lines that we talked about before are really going to be our go-to lines for the baby. You almost want it to have that bobblehead look to it, and that's what we're going for. So using these lines then, we're going to pull those down, and you'll see that this looks a lot more like a baby or a kid, having those really close together. You kind of want that top-heavy feel to the head. Of course, we got the top-heavy part to the cranium. Here, the jaw and the chin are a lot closer. Which I talked about in the previous video in that Let's Draw series, so check that out and you'll learn more about that. But you can see how everything ties in. It's just a little bit more smushed, and then these are closer together because that's the look that we want to go for. So that's way number one. The second way with babies and kids that works too is sometimes just not even drawing a neck and just drawing the shoulders coming down. That works as well for babies and kids, especially babies. It just looks really cute to have those shoulders coming straight off of that jawline. So that's the other option you have. But that's it for today's video. Hope you found it helpful. All right, guys, that's it for today's video. As always, thank you for watching. I appreciate it. If you do me a favor, if you like today's video, if you found it helpful, give it a thumbs up. That helps other people see it on YouTube. Also, if you haven't yet, subscribe to the channel and hit the bell for notifications so you can get alerted when I post new videos. And speaking of new videos, the Cartooning 101 series is going to continue throughout the year. I want to thank everybody for hanging in between the episodes. The reason why there was such a gap in between the last episode and this one was because this episode was going to be completely about drawing cartoon bodies from start to finish, and to be honest, there was a lot of information to cover and the video started running longer and longer and longer. As I tried to cut parts out, there was a lot of information that I know people would have asked about that was missing. I don't think cutting the information out would have really helped people like the previous videos did. It just felt really rushed. And then, like I said, drawing it out to the full length just felt way too long. Felt like you were sitting through a classroom presentation. So I went back to the drawing board, scrapped everything, and started from scratch. So that's what you're seeing today. It's the start of the new process explaining cartooning for bodies. We're going to go over the rest of the parts and then combine everything, but it's going to make it a lot more watchable for you guys, hopefully easier to digest, and you'll get more value out of it that way. So let's see what you guys are doing. Hop on over to the Keep Creating group on Facebook if you haven't yet. I'll link that in the description below. Show off the artwork you've made with these videos, or you can tag me on Instagram or Twitter at BJDellWithThem. You can also contact me through my contact form on my webpage, bjdell.com. So let's see what you guys are doing, and until next time, keep creating.